This is good. This is good. This is good. Yeah, that's right. Well, good morning. We're going to call the meeting to order. A current copy of the Open Meetings Act Nebraska is posted on the wall at the back of the council chambers. Let's first do roll call.
Wilkie,
Here.
Roscoe, Lucas,
Here.
Cubby, here, Mendenhall.
Here.
Okay. Next item here is your minutes from our meeting of August 15th. Any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I move we approve the minutes as submitted.
Is there a second? Okay. Roll call.
Wilkie,
Yes?
Lucas,
Yes.
Cubby, yes, Mendenhall.
Yes.
Okay. Next item is adoption of resolution 2024-10, providing for an issuance of a tax increment development revenue note and other matters for MAD Properties LLC micro TIF project. And Bill, do you want to talk about this attachment here a little bit?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So this is an ongoing micro TIF project for MAD Properties where they came in front of the city council back in February. They are renovating the upper floor of their building and adding residential lofts. And so they're still in the progress of completing that project. But I believe that they want to be able to use this revenue note as a source of collateral for helping to fund their project, which the changes that have been made to the micro TIF law allow for that now. They make it much more clear that that's allowed now. So so what we're proposing here is basically a promissory note that's based on what had originally been developed by the Department of Economic Development as part of the micro TIF process. But then so that we have some sort of action from the CRA, I added in this resolution, and it's kind of an abbreviated version of a resolution that you would see on a regular TIF project. But I wanted to have something a little bit more because the statute that allows for micro TIF specifically states that the authority shall incur the indebtedness related to the project. So that's why with micro TIF we're here in front of the CRA as opposed to how we typically do it, which is going in front of the city council for approval. So it's just the way that the statute's written, where most of the statute reads the city shall do certain things, and then towards the end of it, it switches over and says the authority incurs the indebtedness for the project. So so that's why this is all in front of you here today. And if anybody has any questions over it, we're, as Judy and I and everyone else in city administration likes to joke, we're kind of the guinea pigs when it comes to micro TIFs. So other cities aren't really taking these projects on right now. I think they're taking what we're doing and they're maybe starting, but we're the ones that are kind of paving the way for it.
So my question, this document, is our action today both to approve the format of the paperwork and also for MAD, or are we just approving this format for this and future projects?
We're doing this specifically for MAD, but this would be the format that we would utilize for future projects going forward.
And so some of the detail that's different doesn't have the specifics of, so is this like a yet to be determined based on their advances with the total of this note, or how does that kind of chronologically happen?
And that's where micro TIF is challenging because legally the way that the micro TIF statute reads, their indebtedness is the lesser of the agreed upon costs or the amount to be generated from the TIF proceeds over the 15 years. And so so ultimately, in my mind, the way that ends up working is that they'll get whatever the TIF proceeds are, because in most cases that's going to be less than the agreed upon costs. This particular project, the agreed upon costs are 1.5 million. So I don't know that they'll be able to generate that much in the TIF revenue over 15 years. But if they happen to generate more than that, then the TIF would cut off at the 1.5 million. And that's the way that the note is meant to read. So it reads as the lesser of the two.
Okay. And so mechanically, Don will kind of advance when those approved costs are submitted to her. That's how this will work?
Yes, and that's all included as part of what's approved in the city council proceedings.
Okay.
So when the city council gets an application for micro TIF, the city council considers that, and that application contains that agreed upon costs.
Okay.
And so that would happen on the city council level. City council would pass a resolution to approve all of that. And then my intent moving forward is that we bring them more quickly in front of the CRA to approve the issuance of the indebtedness. And our intent is to just piggyback off of other action that the CRA has, so that we're not having to pull you in here. We don't know how many micro-TIF projects we're ever going to see. The city council has yet to put a limit on the number that can be allowed. The city council could do that. They could limit the number of micro-TIFs in any one year. They haven't yet. But for purposes of our meeting today with the CRA, we don't want to be pulling you guys in every month. My intent is to piggyback off of other action like what we have here today. So that's why I threw it on here, because you're already going to be here. So I thought we'd get it taken care of. And my understanding is that Matt is hoping to utilize some of this, I think I said, as part of their financing. So clear as mud, right?
Sure. Well, as you say, we're the first.
We're the first.
and-
It's always easier if we can look to what other cities are doing and use some of that as guidance, but we don't have a lot of that right now.
Won't see it unless they are using it as part of their financing. Most micro-TIF projects, they don't use it as part of their financing.
Right. The way the statute's written, I would prefer that we still bring it here, just because of the way that it states that the authority shall incur indebtedness once the project's approved at the city council level. So this one, again, it was approved in February, and we're just getting it here, and that's because it's taken me that much time to figure out exactly how we want to handle this. So I would intend that we would do this more frequently with future micro-TIF programs or projects.
Okay. Any other questions? We need a motion. If not,
Yeah. The adoption of resolution 24-10, providing for tax increment financing development revenue note and other matters for Mad Properties LLC micro-TIF project.
any discussion? Let's vote. Roll call?
Wilkie,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Covey,
Yes.
Mendenhall.
Yes.
Okay. So just before the next item then, so after that approval, then does this creation of redevelopment plan? So I think it's information packet for agenda item 5. Mr. Bacon would typically be here. He had a conference that he had to be at that was previously scheduled, so he's not here to answer any detailed questions, but just for, this is I think West A in Lakeview, and it's for the next group of 8 plexes. And so this is a change in their previous plan. I think what we've approved now with those 2 phases was, I think, the initial plan in 2 phases. And so this is in addition to that. And so the way I understand it, this will be 40 new residences when it's done, I believe. And the request is for $850 increase on TIF fund on this. So I guess there's anyone here that wants to speak on this or have questions on this?
They've done a great job of doing what they've done so far, it looks like to me, so.
So I believe the mechanics, if we approve this item, then I believe there, and Judy, correct me if I'm wrong, there is some rezoning that needs to happen. Is that correct? Oh, okay. That's already done. Okay. Right. I was thinking part of the Hannahburg land had to be, was commercial and had to be, but anyway, I'll leave that up to, out of my space here. So, okay. All right. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the application for North Platte Apartments, LP, Lakeview Apartments, and consider the directing preparation of redevelopment plan. That sounds appropriate.
Yeah, I think the motion would be just to direct the preparation of the redevelopment.
Okay.
Because then the plan would come back and go through the city
Yeah,
process.
so this would be like step one in the process again. So we'll see it.
I second the motion.
Okay. And just, anyway, that's all. Any discussion or questions? Okay. Roll call?
Wilkie,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Cubby. Yes. Mendenhall.
Yes.
Okay. The next item here is for sustainable beef, and I've not voted on that subject all the way through, and so we need to, if the vice chair was here, they would take over at this time, but Joe is not here, so we need to appoint an acting chair, like we did last time, which was Don Lucas, and so we just need a motion to approve an acting chair for this line item, because I'll be abstaining from the discussion and vote.
I move we approve Don Lucas as the acting chair for the purpose of this particular line item.
Okay, let's vote.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Lucas, Cubby.
Yes.
Yes. Mendenhall.
Yes.
You can still vote. It's okay.
All right, Don.
This is agenda item 6.
Yeah. Yep. So I think that's the only action item, is just to approve you as the chair,
So
because
we don't need
the-
to go any further.
right, the
than that.
redevelopment contract provides for the chair to be able to sign the note. And so that's been approved as part of the redevelopment contract, so
So then you'll just sign
then you've
the
been,
approval of the actual.
yep, you've been authorized then to sign the note on behalf of the CRA, so. Yep, so that's really the only action that's needed on item number 6.
So then, does he take over then for the other business and adjourn, or do I take?
The motion was just for him to act as chair for item number 6,
Okay,
and so,
right.
I would say,
Perfect.
Don, your role is ended in that regard. You guys can take back. Shortly.
All right. You're on retirement.
As long as your pen's ready to go.
Any other business this morning? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you all.